What's going on, guys? What's today? Tuesday. Pretty good day today. Better than yesterday. Figured we'd start doing some of these recaps again after the morning session was over. Try to walk you guys through some of the stuff that we traded today. It was a really good day today. Had a lot of good opportunities. KLTO was kind of tricky though. Just like yesterday, I had some really bad reads on KLTO yesterday. Well, I don't say bad reads, but I really didn't even play it much yesterday. Even today was a little bit tricky. I really liked it today. We're going to go through all the setups that I went over. But overall, pretty pleased with today. The first half of the morning was a little bit slow. It got a whole lot better. We're going to walk through some of the best strategies that you can use in sort of days like today where sentiment is kind of weak across the board and retail. Small cap action's been a little bit slower this week as a whole, but today it really started to get kicked off there with ARAI towards the later part of the morning. So I do want to dive into the entirety of this move here. This whole move is crazy. We got $5 a share move here up into the halts. Amazing plays. So that's what this video is going to be about. Let's go ahead and dive right into it and see how you could have and how I did catch these stocks today out there in the market. So like I said, pretty good day today. Going to switch to the different layout here. That way we can better take a look at the setups from today. Now, like I said, the trickiest one of the morning was over on KLTO today. And I'll go ahead and pull up the charts here. We can actually see how I traded this morning. And quite frankly, had a lot of trades on this thing and just could not get anything to work. Could not get a single thing to freaking work on this. And so we had some really good trades to start. I actually took some nice pullbacks off of VWAP early here. Obviously, the broader trend we look at here, I liked this thing a lot. I like this thing quite a bit. We had pre-market highs sitting right here at $3.20. So I was thinking, let's try and get that break back higher today. Of course, the market loved news yesterday. We had the break of trend going into the open today too, which we can see here. We had lower highs formed going into the bell. We had the break of 265, got the pullbacks off of VWAP here. And so overall had some really good opportunities on this. And I love this thing today. But again, I got a good, nice win here. But look at price action. It makes a new high, rejects right back to the south side. Literally every single time. Could not get any real momentum going here. Because again, look, it tries to go per my system. If a candle breaks out to a new high and then instantly rejects, that's an exit for me. So you can see here, breaks to a new high, instantly rejects. I can't watch this anymore. Now I'm watching it over the opening range high. This thing breaks back over its highs from the open here back over 330. I try to play the pullbacks here for the break back higher. And what do you know? I have these super small wins off these pullbacks, playing super defensive, raising my stops. Lo and behold, nothing. Take it off the pullbacks here, off the VWAP, and then I'm just sort of getting churned around. Chop. Eventually try to play the break again over the highs. And I just eventually had to say, look, this thing's not working today. I've got to pivot away from this and move on to something else. This thing was just not working. So super small green on this today. Churned around on that. Also has UNCY, which I honestly liked as well. This thing was pretty good, though. I had a pretty good trade on this one this morning. It made a pretty massive move, left a few bucks on the table here. What we had here was a simple opening range breakout. We had the top form here from pre-market with nice confluence here, over 50 cents a share. We can see this here. This was also a major beatdown setup. We take a look over here at the 30-minute time frame, and this thing gapped down heavily overnight. So we look over here at this from pre-market this morning. This thing was a disaster. And this thing was up here at 95 cents this morning and tanked from 95 all the way down to about 43 cents this morning. As you can see here, trend started to flip. So we had these lower highs formed here from 65 down to, what do you have here, 65 to 50. And then we finally broke back over that previous high. You can see here, buyers back at 53 cents. That was my entry there. So I had a nice little entry on the bounce. Was not expecting a move to 70 cents this morning on this. So I took what I got. I ran away with it from 52 to about 57. Took a little 10% win there. That wasn't too bad. But again, a nice setup here. We had the break of trend out of the open. We had buyers come in with a pivot over the simple 200 moving average. Really good stuff here. Nice volume out of the bell. Really good trade. But again, smaller win. Didn't have a lot of conviction because I don't like to trade those bounce setups. CARM was also kind of a nasty one. I also had a hard time getting reads on this. Again, had some pretty good plays where we came out of the open and we saw this accumulation forming here. You can see here off of the 50 moving average where we have this. Let me get my pin tool here so I can show you what I'm talking about. We had these lows form here out of the bell, and I'm looking at this, and I'm like, oh, this looks pretty good. You see, we had these lower highs form, and these higher lows here going into and out of the bell. And so I'm thinking, so we've got some accumulation forming here, because we have buyers confirming here. Buyers pull back again with confirmation of buyers here. Again, pulls back confirmation of buyers here. So I'm taking these pullbacks here, which undoubtedly in the middle of its range, trying to look for that reversal back up higher, because we had that daily range up through $1. So I'm looking for that break up through $1 today on this. And this gets going eventually, but all through here, I try to play this accumulation area out of the bell. Doesn't actually go till later in the morning. And then we only had range to $1, so I can't go chasing it here. And so again, just kind of tricky. Got a little win here on the curl, but again, very small green here. But here's where everything turned around. I promise it gets pretty fun. I was pretty much sideways all morning until 9, or what was it, 10? And then all of a sudden, ARAI comes around and absolutely moonshots This thing was so much fun, y'all. I'm telling you, this thing was the funnest ticker I have had in probably a week's time. This thing was a ton of fun. So this is one of those tickers where you got to zone in, you got to capitalize, you got to take advantage because it can turn your day around in literally a heartbeat. And we look over at the, say, daily time frame here on this and didn't get much easier. Look at the time. Look at this. The break over 7 here was amazing. We have the awesome downtrend break. Take a look. We have the lower highs formed here where we actually broke with volume today. Now, of course, I didn't take it down here at $7. Now, of course, I wish that I did. That would have been an amazing trade. But played that confirmation. I knew we had range back to 10 because obviously over the 7 break, we had clear skies back to this 10 level of resistance. Over that, then you've just got that next range overhead, which I believe you had here. It was pretty much clear skies. Pretty much clear skies here to the IPO price. So this thing was awesome, super beatdown setup, which gives you a ton of range. And let's walk through it. This thing was literally picture perfect. You had to take advantage of this thing today. I had a really dang good time playing it. So again, what we're looking for here is we knew we had clear sky set up over 7. Over 7, we had room to 10. Over 10, we had a clear sky. So again, over 10, we had a clear sky. That is the key factor here. Now take a look. We had upper trend line resistance formed here into about 10 o'clock, where we finally broke out here going into about 10:10. So we have these higher highs formed here, which again provides an area of resistance overhead or an area of range, we can call it, where we can't actually play this until we form that next leg and we actually break through that level of what I like to call a limiter of range or resistance is what most will call it. I'm just weird. But we had the break of the higher highs here. So looking for that break. Again, we have higher high rejecting and just rejecting. I can't play it in this channel because I have no clean direction. I have no range. I knew that if we got over 10, like we just talked about, we had a clear sky setup. So all the stars aligned here. Now, I left a lot of money on the table here because the halt was kind of choppy, but as you can see, I took the confirmation over 10 on this break here. After we broke out of this sort of ascending channel, took the breakout for the move higher. Thankfully got that move here from 1020 up into a halt over 1120. Out of the halt, we want to see this thing continue higher in a strong way. I want to see a nice strength. And this thing just simply did not give me that strength out of the halt. It chopped around. You can see here it actually resumed pretty weak at 10.6. Resumed at 10.6, pulls all the way back to 10.10, and rockets back up to 11.80. The knife's all the way back down to 10 again. And I'm like, you know what? I cut this thing. And so I missed this whole move here because the resumption was so choppy, unfortunately. Again, hindsight 2020, you got to respect price action. That's exactly what I did. And then I waited for confirmation, then played pullbacks later. That was where I made most of my money here, was the halt and then these nice pullbacks. So this thing was amazing. More of these sort of 3-minute entry style setups on this here, which I'm in love with. I'm a huge advocate for trading on the 3-minute time frame because for me myself, and it honestly depends on your personality, the 1 minute has way too much information. You get information overload, so much noise, so much data being thrown at you at once. It's really hard to get a good read of what's going on without thinking too much, without panicking, without making, I'll say, short-term decisions. They're not, you just make these emotionally driven decisions, which I feel a 3-minute sort of cuts out at least a good chunk of, because it almost gives you an average of the 1 and the 5. Some people suggest the 5. I think the 5 hides too much information. I think the 1 has too much information, so the 3 is just a good happy medium for me. And so, as you can see here, price makes a new high all the way up to about 14 bucks a share. And I say, look, let's watch some pullback entries off of VWAP because, again, VWAP acts as a magnet. And so we know that that downside risk is going to be limited if we do find that entry back off of VWAP. Not to mention, we also had this previous high back here sitting at 1180 as well, which added some extra confluence there too for support. And then as you can see here, we actually had some really good trades on this. Off the pullbacks to VWAP, super simple trade. Gave us some awesome follow through. 1180 all the way back to 1280, about $1 a share move. And then again, rinse and repeat off of VWAP again. You can see here, 1240 back to 12.6, and then again, 1214 all the way back to 1320. Just playing the simple moves off of VWAP. Back up into the top of its range. After that, ended up happening here again. After it tested the top of its range, took the exit, and that was my sign to wrap up for the morning. So it ended up moving from the 13s up into the 15s this morning. I did not play it on the breakout. It was, in my opinion, a little bit overextended, but I'm super happy that I played this morning. It was the most fruitful stock out there. Some really awesome pullbacks to VWAP on those 3-minute pullbacks. And then again, that breakout over 10 on the daily here was amazing as well with that clear sky setup and the break of that ascending channel as well. So really zoned in here. As you can see, the volume came in real heavy over 10 as well, providing extra confluence. Overall, this thing was amazing. You could really just ride the moving averages here and just look for those awesome pullback opportunities. So overall, really happy with the morning session. A lot of chop on KLTO. CARM was okay. UNCY was okay. Xena was okay. But overall, this thing here was the moneymaker today. The obvious stock in the market today was ARAI. And just hoping the rest of the week it's a little bit cleaner. Today was really good at the later part of the morning, but I'd like a really clean open. So we'll see how Wednesday, Thursday, Friday goes. But hope you guys enjoyed this little video. We'll be doing this every day, hopefully, going forward. I really like talking through these trades. Hopefully help you guys out on here as well. And all that said, I will see you over in the chat room. Make sure to claim your 7-day free trial for an amazing trading day tomorrow. And for those watch lists, chat room access, live streams, alerts, and everything else, I will see you guys there with the team. Have an awesome rest of your Tuesday, guys.